obviously before the floodlight fracas or melee, whatever you want to call it. But for the likes of Merron and Flo, getting that experience, and the rest of the university girls as well, yourself as well, it must be such a fantastic environment to be a part of.
It really truly has been. From like a personal perspective, having played Premiership rugby with Merrin and with Ebony and Poppy before, and with Michaela as well, being able to have local rugby has really made a big difference to all of us. And being able to come here and experience such a professional environment has really helped me with my studies. And I know some of the girls have also been able to say the same.
And obviously, like we said, disappointment for Flo and Merrin that they didn't manage to get off the bench and get that cap, but they're involved. And again, looking through that Chiefs squad this season, you've had Laura Delgado, captain in Spain, Linda van der Velden, captain in the Netherlands, Abby Fleming, Neve Terry, who's sadly injured today, as well away with Wales, and Meg Davis getting her first caps for her country too. About 5 minutes to go then before kick teams for today, starting with Susie Appleby's Exeter Chiefs side. There's just one personnel change from that game against Sale Sharks with Neve Terry's injury, which sees Abby Fleming come in at open side flanker and American captain Kate Zachary move back to 13, where she played against Saracens earlier in the season. Merrin Doyd shifts back to fullback, and look out for Laura Sheehan and Garnet McKindra on the wings. Inside centre Gabby Cantona is the club's top point scorer this season with 91 points. She needs just 9 points in today's match to reach a century. For Gloucester-Hartpury then, last time out was a 25-20 defeat at home to Wasps, which means that they stay in 6th place going into today's game, but like we said, only 3 points behind the Chiefs. For them, there's 6 changes to their side. 1 in the backs with Tatiana Hurd returning for Sophie Tandy, whilst up front there's 5 changes. Cara Hope, Keris Hale, Gwen Crabb, Georgia Brock and player of the Six Nations nominee Zoe Aldcroft all returning. Obviously, like we said, it was near enough 9 months ago that the season kicked off with Exeter Chiefs taking on Gloucester-Hartpury in a 34-14 defeat, and 7 of the Exeter players in the matchday squad today have been involved in every single match this season, which is an absolutely fantastic number. Jess, obviously we've talked about it a little bit, I've talked about it on these live streams. To learn off of Fee Lewis and Patricia Garcia. There's so much experience, and obviously that's, like you say, going to help all of these local girls develop even further.
Absolutely. It's been a real privilege this year being able to work under the girls who have got such great international experience. I've definitely gained a lot. Even if I haven't taken to the pitch, I've gained a lot each week within training, and it's really good to see my own personal improvement each week. And I know the girls are always happy to help, especially the ones with that large international experience. It's a really fantastic environment.
And just as we're waiting then for the teams to make their way out onto the field, again we touched on it there, but the university link as well, it's such an important pathway in the men's game, and it's starting to show in the women's game as well. That link between Chiefs and Exeter University is so crucial for the development.
Absolutely. Girls that go to the university in Exeter, the uni women's rugby side is so strong, and we have such a diverse squad there who can most of the girls could absolutely put the hand up, and it's great to see girls who I've played with for a few years already asking me questions about how they can get involved in the setup and things they can do in order to improve, to maybe one day hopefully pull on a Chiefs training jersey, let alone come and play for Chiefs. It really makes that Premiership dream seem a bit more realistic and a bit more at home.
And it's not just the university as well. See, there's the link with Exeter College, and it's a fantastic proving ground, like you said, to try and improve yourself and further yourself and see if you can make it. Looking ahead then for both teams, who do you think will be the players to watch out for today, starting with the Chiefs?
To be honest, 1 to 23, every player in their own right is a standout player. I think some absolute workhorses to keep an eye out for would be Poppy Leach, Ebony Jeffries from the forwards, and as well as Linda. Sachi, to be honest, I would love to give every single one of the girls a shout out. Everyone is an absolute standout player. I think Merrin has been training really well this week as well. I think it would be a really good idea to keep an eye out for how Merrin plays.
And for Gloucester-Hartpury then, just as I look over to my left and see them making their way out of their changing room and down onto the pitch, we've already mentioned her, but Zoe Aldcroft was so influential in that game back in October, and she returns today for them. They've got experience all over the pitch. They've got lots of England internationals, lots of Welsh internationals in there. And the return of Tatiana Hurd in the centres for them as well is going to be a massive boost for this last game, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
So here we go then. If you were watching the men's game earlier, you saw how foul the conditions were. They've improved slightly. I can actually see the fields over the other side of where the stand was now, but it's still wet and damp here at Sandy Park this evening. You can hear that cheer below me then from the non-playing squad welcoming their side, led by Linda van der Velden, onto the field for this final game of the season. You can hear the cheers then as Chiefs make their way to the far end of the pitch to start this one. And today's referee, should give him a mention as well, is Adam Wookie. Be covering proceedings today. No colour clash like there was in the men's game before us this time. The officials in yellow jerseys for this one, so players and fans watching won't get as confused as I did earlier watching the men's match. Before we get going then, we will take a moment's pause on the referee's whistle. There we go then, and we're seconds away now from Exeter Chiefs' final game in their debut season. It will be the Chiefs to kick us off this afternoon. Patricia Garcia to get us underway. And there we go then, time on from the referee. And we're underway. Garcia switching things and going to the right. It's a flat kick, but it's taken well by Georgia Brock for Gloucester-Hartpury. And they clear straight away. Good call there from Merrin Doidge. And she's straight with ball in hand up to the 10-metre line on a slippery surface. Cato then with her first carry of the afternoon. Such an influential player for the Chiefs this season. Robinson to Garcia, filling in at fly half again to Jeffries. And Garcia again looks for a little chip over the top. Taken well just outside the 22. And Gloucester set off there. Through Emma Singh, that was covering well. And Bianca Blackburn fires it off to Zoe Aldcroft. Tatiana Hurd then steps in at first receiver for the Chief, for Gloucester-Hartpury I should say. And she's met well by Emily Totosi. And that's back to Daisy Fahy, and she's forced to kick. Straight down the channel though of Garnet McKinder, and she looks to try and find some space in the centre of the pitch, and she's done brilliantly there to burst through the tackle of Tatiana Hurd, and she sets off into the 22, and she's still going. McKinder beats the tackle but eventually is met by the Gloucester defence. Fantastic break there from the winger. Garcia again to Cato popping up in midfield, but it's been intercepted on the pass, and Gloucester-Hartpury then will be able to clear their lines here. Jess, we've seen it there from Garnet this season, just as the ref stops there. She's been such an influential presence with those bustling carries. She's got 5 tries, and when she gets going, she really is a difficult player to take down.
Absolutely. Not only is she got some incredible pace on the ball, she has some brilliant footwork. She's a really big ball carrier. Not typical for a winger to be able to carry as well, as hard as she does. She's an absolute powerhouse out on the wing.
And that one then stays in play, and Chiefs chip through. It's tidied up nicely though in the backfield by Gloucester-Hartpury. Blackburn then sets her forwards, and it's back for Gloucester-Hartpury to clear, And that one does eventually make its way into touch. Taken back in, Bello, Susie Appleby from below me, and she was quite right too. We come back then, and it'll be a first line out of the afternoon for Exeter Chiefs in the Gloucester-Hartpury 22. Emily Totosi then to throw in. Such an impactful player at hooker for the Chiefs this season, the Canadian international. And it's a short routine by the Chiefs, but it's been spilt forwards. Gloucester then knock it on afterwards, so we'll come back then for that initial knock on. It'll be a Gloucester-Hartpury free kick. For those of you that have been watching women's rugby this season, by now you'll know the routine. 35-minute halves rather than the normal 40, and free kicks rather than scrums for knock-ons. That was a bit of a flat kick there from Gloucester, but it's made its way into touch. And Chiefs then will have an opportunity to set their stall out of the line out this time round. It's a better line out, but it's disrupted well by Gloucester-Hartpury in the air. But Chiefs have scrambled and managed to win it back. And they have the ball again now, creeping up towards the opposition 22. Garcia to Cantona, to Zachary in the centres today. And she breaks through, but it is crossing there. Unfortunate there. She looked to be away and trying to feed her winger McKinder. And we'll come back then for a Gloucester-Hartpury penalty. Jess, that was one of those there, just a slight miscommunication, just a slight breakdown there between Kate and Merrin. But it's brilliant to see Chiefs looking to play such expansive rugby so early on this evening. Absolutely.
It's good to see us trying to take advantage of the wide channels, especially with it being wet weather and windy. It's good to see us trying to play such an expansive game.
So Gloucester-Hartpury then off that penalty. They will have their first throw-in of the evening. And it's been disrupted brilliantly by Chiefs, but Bianca Blackburn then showing all of her nous and experience to tidy that ball up for her side. The visitors break then down the wing. Blackburn again then back into the pocket at 9, and Tatiana Hurd feeds it on to Georgia Bright. It was fantastic there. Blackburn again sniping, looking for an opportunity. She's manhandled by Poppy Leach. A fantastic hit there on Cara Hope. Brilliant tackle. But there was a knock on in the tackle from Exeter Chiefs, and we'll come back for a Gloucester-Hartpury free kick. And there's their number 7 then, Robin Locke. There's another huge hit, and you can hear the cheers from the Chiefs bench below me. They're happy with what they're seeing so far.
It's really good to see some things that we've been putting in at training, like working hard on those double shots coming out onto the pitch. It really does make a big difference getting those hits in.
And that was such an important tackle there on Tatiana Hurd, I think it was. If that hadn't been made, Gloucester would have been away. They've still got the ball though. They're still looking to offload and show their menace in attack. Slow ball though, and it gives Chiefs an opportunity to realign in defence. There's another brilliant double shot there that Jess have been saying they've been working on all week. There's Daisy Fahy, pops it off to Tatiana. And it's a penalty though for Chiefs. Fantastic breakdown work there. Holding on the call from the referee, and a chance for Gabby Cantona to put Chiefs into a strong attacking position here. Jess, I've spoken about it with everyone else that's joined me in commentary so far this season, but that strength at the breakdown, especially when you've got the likes of Kate Zachary, Poppy Leach, Ebony Jeffries, as you think about before the match, it's such an asset for the side, isn't it?
Absolutely. When you have breakdowns in the middle of the pitch like there, it's important to make sure we do get the turnovers. Not only if we don't get a turnover, make sure we put the pressure on. It allows us to get set, take a breather, and actually get some great line speed off.
Line-outs aren't quite going to plan so far for either side, it must be said, and that's the third one that's gone awry for the Chiefs. And Gloucester-Hartpury then have been able to clear straight down the channel of Merrin Doidge. It's an awkward bounce. The young fullback covers well. She's met though by a sea of red. She's recycled well though. Garcia then slipping back in at 9 temporarily. Obviously playing at fly half today, as she has done for the last couple of weeks after Taylor Black's injury. There's a bobbling ball there, but it's picked up by Kate Zachary. And Flo Robinson then back in at scrum half. McKinley Hunt now with the carry. And the ball again goes out to Garcia, and it's a little chip through, slightly too long. And it's picked up well by Emma Singh, and she looks to break. Fantastic hit there from Zachary. Gloucester then still with the ball. Keris Hale with the tackle. Fahy plays it off to Locke. It's a lovely inside ball there to Zoe Allcroft, and she creeps her way up to halfway. Fahy then just searching for options, offloads the ball well. And it's another penalty though for Exeter at the breakdown. I was about to say Gloucester haven't been making many metres, but their ball retention have been excellent. Chiefs then popping up with a timely penalty, holding on the call again. Cantorna then sends the ball down towards the Gloucester-Hartpury 22. And let's hope that it's full time lucky on the line out then for the Chiefs, and see if they can use this attacking opposition. And again it's a mess at line out time. Chiefs have done well to recycle it again, and there's Delgado with the carry. Robinson having to fight for the ball. There's a penalty advantage there for playing the 9, and Robinson sees a little gap and breaks through. Brilliant. Fantastic read there. Garcia then, it goes over her head and it's bouncing around. McKinley Hunt tidies up. Chiefs still playing with that penalty advantage, remember. And Garcia then again looks for the little kick through, and it's a lovely kick that makes its way into touch, but no advantage come in. We'll come back for the penalty. What will the Chiefs do here then? Their first opportunity to get some strong phases in the Gloucester-Hartpury 22, 10 minutes into this match, near enough. I'm just waiting for a ball. They look like they're going to pick and go from outside the 22. And indeed they are. Sachi Queso bursts off. That wasn't quite the decision I was expecting to see, but
I think when the conditions are as bad as they are, I think we need to try and avoid going for the line out at the moment. I think it really shows by the lack of clear line out we've managed to get this afternoon, how truly bad the weather conditions are.
I said it might not look bad on the screens, but trust me, that wind is swirling around down on that pitch as well. There's two strong carries there in those phases before from Cantorna and Zachary, an All-American pairing in the centres today. And as Emily Totosi then takes play up to 5 metres out from the line. Cantorna then on a hard straight line. She's 2 metres short. Chiefs building really nicely here. Robinson. And a great tackle again there from Gloucester-Hartpury, keeping the Chiefs at bay for now. And Garcia manages to find the ball in her hands, and she is barreled backwards after an initial little zip off towards the try line. There's fantastic defence there from Gloucester-Hartpury, and they win the penalty at the breakdown off their feet. The call from the referee, and they're excited below us there. You can hear the noise from the 2 sets of subs, as I said earlier, cheering their sides on, geeing them up in this final game, knowing that a 5th place finish is on the line. Jess, you've mentioned obviously the difficulty with the conditions, with the wind as well, especially. Obviously you've had an opportunity to train out on the pitch this season as well. Give us an idea of how much of an impact that swirling wind has in matches and in training as well.
It absolutely can affect any line-out call. The wind, especially in Sandy Park, really does swirl.
It's a fantastic steal there at the line out from Exeter Chiefs, and there's a knock on from Gloucester-Hartpury, so we'll have a free kick.
But yes, yeah, the wind can really affect it. It's very different pitch to pitch, and especially with the mini wind tunnel that does come across Sandy Park, it can make the conditions quite difficult to get a good clean ball.
And especially then if the ball's going to be kept in the hands, they're going to want to keep it tight. And they're back just outside the 22, but Garcia then with a little half break, 15 metres out from the line, as Flo Robinson feeds it off to Emily Totosi. And Laura Delgado is met hard by a sea of tacklers. Strong take there from Gabby Cantorna, juggled it a little bit but held on well. And Kate Zachary then with the ball in her hands. Garcia then looks to play quickly, and that passing avenue is cut off, and she has to take the ball to ground and drive through. 5 metres out again now the Chief. Sachi Kato with the carry, stopped dead in her tracks. It's been fantastic defence so far, it must be said, from the Gloucester-Hartpury team. And Chiefs then still with the ball in hand. Apologies to Shia Pinnock a couple of moments ago, who made an important carry for her side. I got her confused with Tatiana Hurd. It's difficult to see from up here, having to sprint from the gantry. Chiefs then still with the ball, metres away from the Gloucester-Hartpury line, but they've been rucked off the ball. Fantastic turnover then from Gloucester-Hartpury again, and they will look to clear their lines. So now a strong carry there, just trying to create a kicking opportunity, and it's a slightly rushed kick. Good pressure there from Chiefs, and Zachary looks to pass it back to Garnet McKinder, which she does superbly, and the winger sets off again, beats the first tackle, eventually hauled down. The advantage being played by the looks of things for the Chiefs, and Leach juggles the ball, but Van der Velden mops it up, went backwards, that's okay. And Cantorn has seen some space in behind. Laura Sheehan chasing after it. Oh, unlucky. Just goes forward off her hands as she tries to gather the slippery ball.
Lovely vision from Trisha there to see the space in behind.
And we'll come back for the penalty. Time off, the referee says. There's a player down. Time off then as we try and see who that is from up here. Decent distance away from the pitch, so having to squint to see this one. Jess, we're 15 minutes or so in. It's gone quite quickly actually, I think, so far. It's been majority Chiefs ball with the territory so far, but not quite managed to get that all-important first score yet.
Unfortunately not yet, no. It's good to see both sides putting each other under a lot of pressure defensively, especially with that weather taking away the ability to have a good set line out. For both sides, our line-out has been a key attacking platform throughout the whole season, and I think it's going to be difficult trying to adapt styles for both sides without that key line-out.
An opportunity then, perfect time to take on a bit of water for both teams as well. Everyone back on their feet. Linda van der Velden, the captain for today, then speaking to referee Adam Wookey. And you'd think for the Chiefs this would be a perfect place for that tap and go that we saw earlier with Sachiko Kato. And indeed,
absolutely, she's such a big ball carrier.
And indeed that is what they're setting up here. Here she goes then. A metre out from the line, right on the line this time in fact. And they're down, Exeter Chiefs are down. We'll try and find out the scorer for you. And it's McKinley Hunt who's gone over for her 8th try of the season. And just reward then for the Chiefs after all of that enterprising play and that solid, cohesive attacking structure when they've got in the red zone there. Jess, that's McKinley's 8th try of the season. It puts her as top try scorer for the Chiefs now, and obviously there was that hat-trick against Wasps as well. She's such a powerful player from close range.
Absolutely, especially coming from the second row, she is really good in a good low driving position. We've worked really hard in training throughout the whole season for all of us to be a good attacking threat on a pick and go. Notoriously quite difficult to defend, and I think if you watch the Chiefs men as well, it's quite evident as well. It's quite a Chiefs style of play when we're 5 metres out to make sure we come away with points, especially from a pick and go.
Conversion then from Gabby Cantona, that takes her up to 93 points for the season. 7-0 the score to Exeter Chiefs with 17 minutes on the clock. Just as we're waiting for play to resume now, what I said earlier about the rain abating, so commentators curse it started coming down again. How much do you think that's going to have an impact, especially with that wet and slippery ball for the rest of the match?
I think not only is that going to have effect, again, still on the line out, but I think in general play, both sides quite use a little offload here and there, and I think that's going to really take out some options for us. I think it's going to be really important that we try and keep the ball tight, but however, making sure we still take advantage of the space that Gloucester-Hartpury are presenting. And
Chiefs again then back with ball in hand in their half on the 10-metre line. Big chase to call from below us, and Flo Robinson puts that one up. Laura Sheehan racing after that. Fantastic tackle then. And Gloucester-Hartpury then, 3-ball the call. Daisy Fahy again looks for the options. None coming known, will come back as a penalty. High tackle, says the referee, and Gloucester will have an opportunity to respond here. Fantastic kick there from Gloucester-Hartpury, and that takes play to outside the Exeter Chiefs 22. Jess, we've not actually really seen Gloucester have a concerted attacking position yet so far, and a fantastic opportunity now for them to try and keep it tight and to try and draw some defenders in from the Chiefs.
Absolutely, it's going to be a challenge to be able to get a good clean ball for any side off the line out today, and she has. I think it's going to be important that we still keep applying pressure in the line out as well, regardless of the weather, not just relying upon that.
Gloucester then still with ball in hand. That one looked forward to me, and it was disappointment there for Gloucester-Hartpury. It was a fantastic line, just a slight breakdown in communication, and it'll be a free kick then for Exeter Chiefs. Flo Robinson then off to Poppy Leach. Little double pump, and she feeds to Laura Delgado. And Chiefs then still with ball in hand. Patricia Garcia spots a little half gap, almost makes it through. And Leach then acting as that glue player in midfield for the Chiefs, as she has done so well all season. And the ball to Gabby Cantona. She boots it in behind for Garnet McKinder to chase after. It's an awkward bounce. And Emma Singh does well there to pluck that out of a difficult position and feed Kelly Smith, who sets off. But the ball's been spilt on the floor, and Laura Delgado comes away with it on the blind side. Knock on the floor from the Chiefs, says the referee, so we'll come back for that free kick. Robinson then to Cato. She carries hard, and Robinson again is there at the breakdown, but it's fantastic work on the floor there for Gloucester-Hartpury. I'm trying to see who that is. Looks like it was number 6 Georgia Brock with the all-important turnover there for her side. Fantastic work from her. We'll just have time off here with one of the Gloucester-Hartpury players down on the ground. The medics tending to her, making sure she gets all the attention that she needs. And the referee then taking on a bit of water as well. Jess, we've had these moments in quite a few games this season. Obviously we've got the enforced water break every quarter as well. It's obviously when you've got an injury like this, you obviously hope that the opposition player is okay, but it's a time for you as a team just to get those crucial messages onto the pitch and work out where you are and how you can get better, isn't it?
Absolutely. Each time we've been able to have these little chats has really helped us. It means the back three can get in some messages into the centres, and all the pack can actually really talk to each other and say what calls are on in the line out, or say about general carrying around the park, and see what other things we can bring out of our toolbox to help increase the game's momentum.
And especially with somebody like Kate Zachary, so influential and so good at covering different positions as well, having her switch from flanker to centre today, she just obviously will add that experience between the pack and that link between the pack and the forwards as well, the pack and the backs I should say as well.
Yeah, Kate is a really good influence on the pitch. Her experience really does help everyone. It's good to be able to see a forward with really big versatility be able to make the step up between both 7 and in the centres.
We're still waiting then with the Gloucester player down receiving treatment. I've still not been able to have confirmation yet up here as to who it is. Quite rightly, they'll just take their time and make sure everything is okay. One of those today with the conditions, like we've been saying, it's so cold, it is so damp that these enforced stoppages, you need to try and keep yourself warm, keep your wits about you, and in fact it does look like there is going to be a sub for Gloucester-Hartpury here, and it will be number 19 Bethan Lewis that will be coming on to the pitch. See her below us going through a quite intensive warm up there, so she looked like the right scenario. Fantastic to see number 7 can be here for the lot. So much you can. Fantastic to see her back on her feet and making her own way off the pitch. See if they can create some space for themselves. Chiefs defence holding up well so far. They're searching for the ball, and there's Fahy. There's a nice combination there between Pinnock and Hurd. The Chiefs defence is holding up well. Then Gloucester-Hartpury back on their own 10-metre line now, and in fact they're forced to use the boot. And that one's found touch just inside the Chiefs' half. Good kick there considering the circumstances, and in fact it's come off the Chiefs' hand, so it'll be a Gloucester-Hartpury line out.
Back to the same position that you just started from, really.
I say, as you were really after that 2 minutes of play. Connie Powell again then to throw in for her side. There's a fantastic leap again there, and the ball again works its way out. There's Tatiana Hurd on the wraparound. Smith, who's found some open space and she's away. Tackled well there, just in behind by the Chiefs. Bianca Blackburn again. Gloucester looking to put some pace on the ball here. It's spilt on the floor though, difficult conditions as we keep saying. Use the space to call from below us, and McKinley Hunt then just mops up and tidies up on her own 10-metre line, playing with that free kick advantage. There's a knock on there as well, but we'll come back to that first one. Lots of these so far, and Obviously, like we said, with those rules this season, with free kicks rather than scrums for knock-ons, it's probably a slight blessing in disguise today, isn't it, Jess? Otherwise we'd be about 15-20 minutes into a scrum fest so far.
You say this, but I would personally quite enjoy seeing that.
Obviously, as a prop, 100%.
We have a really good dominant pack, and it's been a shame, really, to not have had the advantage of the scrums this season. But with the free kicks, like you said, it has really allowed a quicker and more fast-paced game.
You can see the wind there. Fantastic work from Gloucester-Hartpury to mop up in behind. That was a promising little kick from Exeter Chiefs. And Gloucester-Hartpury then will look to set themselves and again try and clear themselves out of a sticky position as Daisy Fahy again. Now it's not found touch though, it's just straight down the channel, and Garcia then looks to respond, searching around, darting around for a space. She steps out of the first tackle, lovely looped pass. Kate Zachary picks it up on the bounce. Forward the call from the referee. It'll be a free kick then for Gloucester-Hartpury. Another promising half chance, I think you have to call that there. But Gloucester-Hartpury then can clear their lines from the free kick. Straight to Garnet McKinder. She takes that very well and pops it off to Meryn Doidge. And Doidge then takes play to just inside the Gloucester-Hartpury half. Not rolling away there, and penalty advantage. Free ball. Garcia again looks in behind, and Fahy drops the ball, but it doesn't matter. No advantage coming, and we'll come back then for that Exeter Chiefs penalty. Good hands from Gabby Cantona then to make sure the ref didn't get hit by the ball, and she'll look to send this one down into touch. Strong, solid nudge from Cantona. Play halfway between the Gloucester-Hartpury 22 and 10 metre line.
Hopefully here with a bit of shielding from the stands, we might be able to get some good line-out ball here. Well,
let's see. It's a fantastic throw and an initial brilliant take from Ebony Jeffries, but under a lot of pressure, it must be said, and Gloucester-Hartpury do well to force the knock on there and take the ball. It's Connie Powell, by the looks of things, gets back up. And Gloucester-Hartpury again muscling their way through, searching for that space, searching for that opportunity to free the hands and potentially get an offload away. There's another inside ball there as well from them. Chiefs competing brilliantly at the breakdown, and they do affect the turnover, but there's no advantage coming. And again, it's a case of as you were. We'll come back. Free kick for Gloucester-Hartpury for a knock-on. Daisy Fahy then again sends that one long, keeping it in play. Garnet McKinder takes it and kicks straight down the channel. And it's Emma Singh who takes the ball, and she sets off on her way. Brilliant tackle there from Garcia. Singh looking menacing there with ball in hand. There's a knock on. Little basketball bounce of the ball there, but couldn't quite manage to keep their hands on the ball. Flo Robinson then will get us back underway in what's admittedly been a stop-start half so far. As Emily Totosi pops it on to her front row colleague Laura Delgado. And Garcia in the pocket, kicks in behind, might be just too much on that. It dies just before it can go dead. Grounded by Gloucester-Hartpury and a 22 dropout for them.
It's really good to see Patricia trying to take advantage of the big dead ball area. Not very many places in the Prem 15s have such a large space back there in order for good pressure to be put in.
And we've seen her kicking game a lot this season, from scrum half and fly half when she slotted in. That game against Sale just before Christmas, that lovely crossfield kick for Garnet McKinder, and it's such a powerful weapon to have at your disposal, isn't it?
Absolutely, especially when you've got wingers like Garnett and Laura Sheen as well under that ball. Both brilliant ball carriers with some absolutely rapid pace.
So Chiefs then choosing to take the scrum.
First one of the game.
First one of the game, yeah. Just the 27 minutes into the match and we finally have our first scrum of the game, and an opportunity then for both packs to size each other up and see who can come out on top. And if Chiefs do get this right, you sense this is a promising position with so many potential opportunities if they can exploit it. And what do you know, first scrum, and we have a reset. Take our time and go again. And Robinson again then patiently waits to feed the ball in.
Lovely.
We'll have another reset here again then. It's not quite working out so far for both packs. Fingers crossed this one will be third time lucky and we can get some ball back in play with just over 7 minutes of the first half to go by my watch. And that scrum stays up. It's a good riposte from Gloucester-Hartpury, but Exeter have the ball and they go wide. Merrin Doidge with the ball and she cuts inside. Fantastic tackle there. And holding on the call from the referee. You can see the celebrations there. There's Beth Lewis. Fantastic turnover there and a quite justly deserved celebration for that fantastic work on the floor there. Jess, that was a really good break by Merrin, and we've seen a couple of those really good half breaks for Chiefs so far this half, but it's just not quite connected up, has it, once it's come to rucking over and securing it again?
Not quite, which is quite frustrating. It's good to see that we are making those little half breaks and managing to get some really good go forward on the outside channels. It'd be really good to see us being able to clean up that breakdown and be able to get reset and go again.
Connie Powell then to throw in with the shelter of the main stand behind her. And it's another line out that doesn't quite work, but it's tidied up by Gloucester-Hartpury under pressure, and Bianca Blackburn then steps back in at 9. Fahy out to Tatiana Hurd, searching for the options, and Abby Fleming, I think it is, over there, marshalling her players around the ruck. And Gloucester-Hartpury then have spilt it, looking to offload, and it's a prime attacking opportunity then again for the Chiefs. Laura Delgado with the carry, Gloucester-Hartpury over it, but they're rucked off the ball well there. There's Cantorna out the back to Garcia, who takes well. But another penalty against the Chiefs at breakdown time, and another let-off for Gloucester-Hartpury. Daisy Fahy then, it's a great boot. Fantastic kick from her. Neither Merrin Doidge or Garnet McKinder quite in a position to get a leap and try and keep that one in play. And they're now deep inside the Exeter Chiefs half again. It's a clever line out to Pinnock. She breaks through, but she's tackled by her opposite number, Poppy Leach. There's number 5 on the ball there for Gloucester, Gwen Crabb, but her pass is knocked on. And Garcia then is met with a thundering tackle from Zoe Allcroft. Huge tackle there from the number 8 before Van der Velden spills the ball forwards. No advantage coming, and we'll come back for the Chiefs free kick. That was some tackle that from Zoe Allcroft, wasn't it, Jess?
You can hear the hit from up here, but I think potentially maybe a bit high.
Garcia, though, straight back to her feet. And from the free kick, she goes long, straight down the channel of Kelly Smith. She feeds it off to Emma Singh. Merrin Deutsch then tidies up that kick and she chips through herself. And the mark called then by Gloucester-Hartpury, ending that temporary game of aerial ping pong.
There were some great takes within that, especially for the conditions.
I think it is worth pointing out that the handling that's on show today, especially considering the conditions and the wind. Merrin Deutsch again then for another fine take from Daisy Fahy's boot, and she feeds it out to Ebony Jeffries. Fantastic carry from Jeffries, bouncing off her first player, and there's Sachi Kato then with the carry, looking for the link, can't quite get there, but Flo Robinson is quickly in position at 9. It's Garcia to McKinley Hunt with a half break. We've seen her pop through gaps like that to score tries this season. Good defence though from Gloucester-Hartpury. And the ball then bouncing around on the floor, and it's taken by Gloucester-Hartpury, and they look to be away. Bouncing ball though on the floor, can't quite be taken, and we'll come back for that Gloucester-Hartpury free kick with just under 3 minutes left off the half. It's 7-0 to Exeter Chiefs. That score from McKinley Hunt about 15 minutes in. And after we'd praised the handling of everybody so far, you can see the conditions taking effect there of an uncharacteristic knock-on, it must be said, from the Gloucester-Hartpury side. And Chiefs then have been gifted a half opportunity here. Let's see what they can do with it. Poppy Leach
Lovely
with
carry.
the bust up towards the 22. Garcia to Van der Velden. It's a good tackle on her.
The defence either side has been fantastic this game. Some really big hits.
It really has been. There's a battle on the floor there for the ball, but it's the Chiefs who come away with it. That breakdown, such a fiercely contested area, especially on a day like today.
Especially when you don't have the advantage of being able to turn over ball in the scrum, you've really got to make sure you're looking after that ball in the breakdown.
I suppose it's the one good thing about the law amendments this season, as we see McKinley Hunt make her way up towards the 22, is like you said, it really focuses on that handling and that ball retention and being the best you can be at it.
Yeah, absolutely. It means that you've really had to sharpen your skills with the ball, and it's given girls that necessarily might not have been the strongest in the scrum being able to work across that this season.
And Gloucester-Hartpury then all over Exeter Chiefs there. Flo Robinson being shoved backwards, and indeed they have managed to effect a turnover. And that is half-time. My clock was about a minute out, so apologies for that. But half-time score here from Sandy Park. And it's been a challenging game in difficult conditions. Exeter Chiefs have had the lion's share of the territory. We just have a solitary try to show for their efforts so far. McKinley Hunt crashing over from close range, converted by Gabby Cantona to take it to Exeter Chiefs 7, Gloucester-Hartpury 0 at the break. Jess, just before we take a short break before the second half, what have you made of it so far?
Absolutely physical game. I think the second half is going to be just as, if not more, physical for the Chiefs in order to hold on to their lead. It's going to be a really exciting half, the upcoming.
So thank you very much for joining us so far. Make sure to don't switch off, or not switch off rather, I should say, if I can get my words out. We'll be taking a short break and we'll be back with you in about 10 minutes time, just before the start of the second half. build, and Exeter Chiefs not too far behind them. Rain now absolutely lashing down. I can see it going across in front of me. I suppose it's just really a typical Sandy Park evening. But we've got 35 minutes of action left of the regular season for you then here at Sandy Park. I'm delighted to say that I'm still joined by Jess Thomas for the second half. I'm trying to have a quick look. I can't see any changes for either side. So I think it's a case of as you were. Jess, we can hear the wind and we can hear the rain coming down on top of us here. For this second half, it's going to be all about which team can keep the territory and keep their hands sharp the most, isn't it? It's
going to be absolutely all about that. It's going to be who purely wants this 5th place position more. It's going to be about who wants to dig in the hardest. And it's safe to say I'm very grateful to be up here rather than down on the pitch side in this weather.
So it'll be Gloucester-Hartpury then to get us back underway for the second half. We just wait for Adam Wookey to get us back underway. The arm goes up, and here we go then, back underway. The final 35 minutes of the regular season. Kate Zachary then takes well and feeds to her captain, Linda van der Velden, with a bludgeoning run there, taking 3 Gloucester-Hartpury players to take her down. Abby Fleming then comes in to help out Flo Robinson and secure the ball for her side.
Lovely exit under pressure there.
Brilliant pressure, you said there, Jess, from Gloucester-Hartpury, and they've tidied up well there. Bianca Blackburn, Tatiana Hurd can't hold on to that one. It's a knock-on, free ball on halfway for Exeter Chiefs. And Jess, I know we're only 30-40 seconds into this half, but that's a perfect opportunity, isn't it, straight away for Exeter?
Absolutely, we need to take advantage of every opportunity that comes with small mistakes like that. It's going to be really difficult to keep either side out for this half.
Chiefs then look to go down the short side. Van der Velden again with another fantastic second carry in as many minutes. She looks right up for this second half. And Sachi Kato then with the tip on to McKinley Hunt. And Robinson again back at scrum half to Garcia. And she feeds Fleming on a hard line there. Fantastic to see Abby Fleming back in the starting lineup today, but it's a penalty. Gloucester-Hartpury, and back chat from the Chiefs, and they'll be marched back another 10 metres. It's one thing you don't want in conditions like these is your discipline to start letting you down.
Very rare to see us giving away a penalty for back chat as well.
Holding on was the call from the referee. And
lovely take.
Fantastic take from Laura Sheehan, straight down her channel. Strange decision though from Gloucester-Hartpury for the penalty to tap and kick.
I think it's going to be really key that we make sure we're clearing up these breakdowns.
And we've seen it there. We talked about handling a slippery ball, tricky ball for McKinley Hunt to try and hold on to there, and she is unable to. Free kick for Gloucester-Hartpury just outside the Chiefs 22. Really promising position for them. There's Connie Powell with another fantastic carry. And they switch play, do Gloucester-Hartpury, and come back against the grain. Chiefs up to the task so far. Penalty advantage though. And there's a kick through from Emma Singh. Mopped up by Merrin Doige. No advantage coming. It'll be a Gloucester-Hartpury penalty.
It's really important. We're going to need to tidy up these little penalties. It's rare that you get a penalty just outside of the 22, let alone in a good attacking position for the post for the points. I'll be surprised to see if Gloucester play off this.
And you're quite right, they go to the corner. Perfect kick from Gloucester-Hartpury, and they'll have a line out 5 metres out from the Exeter Chiefs line. It's the closest they've been to the Chiefs try line all match, and a prime opportunity for them to try and get themselves back level on the scoreboard. A few words there exchanged between Cara Hope and Connie Powell. But the line out goes astray, and it's mopped up at the back by Linda van der Velden. And it will be an Exeter Chiefs free kick with the bouncing, slippery ball lost on the floor. Such an important intervention there from Linda.
Definitely, that was a big sigh of relief.
And especially in these first 3.5 minutes, she may have been a little bit quieter than you'd expect in the first half, but we've seen everything that she's about in these opening minutes. All action, hard carries, and a fantastic kick there from Garcia. Takes play just outside the 22, and Gloucester-Hartpury still with an attacking opposition, but 20 metres or so back from where they were a moment ago, and where I'm sure they'd much rather be.
It's really positive to keep pushing them out, even though we're only still within touching zone of our own try line. It's good to see we've put that much pressure on their line out.
And that's a much more solid line out for Gloucester-Hartpury, and Georgia Brock breaks off the back and goes to ground. Bianca Blackburn then with the ball. She feeds it to Connie Powell, and the ball is then tipped on. Gloucester then just sizing up their opportunities. There's a kick in behind there from Daisy Fahy. She dropped the ball, but it went backwards, said the referee. And Meryn Deutsch then shows a nice little bit of composure and understanding of where she is on the pitch to ground the ball. It'll be an Exeter Chiefs 22. Garcia thinks about taking it quickly there.
For such a young age, Meryn has got such a great rugby brain. It's really good to see someone that young have such good knowledge of the game.
And I suppose, obviously, like we said, disappointment she didn't get off the bench against France last Friday, but to be in that match day 23, you said it just at that age, it shows how good her rugby brain is and how quality a player she is, alongside Flo Robinson, who was there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. From a personal perspective, like I'm quite good friends with both of them, and it's quite good to see your friends succeeding and getting the chances to pull on that shirt.
There's a huge shot there from Abby Fleming, but Gloucester-Hartpury tidy up, and there is Deutsch. She loses the ball, but it goes backwards, says the referee, and she is tracked down by Ellie Underwood, who does well to get herself to ground. And there's Flo Robinson again then, the other young Exeter University and Exeter Chiefs player that we just mentioned, tidying things up from scrum half.
Lovely
and
little
she
box.
clears, good kick, but it's straight down the channel of number 23 for Gloucester-Hartpury, George, who has come on at half time. I'll try and get confirmation for you of who she's come on for as soon as I can. But Gloucester-Hartpury still with the ball in play then. Tatiana Hurd stepping in at first receiver. And there's some space out there if Gloucester-Hartpury can find it. And they're still searching. There's a lovely little inside ball there, but it's almost intercepted by Sachi Kato, and it's gone forwards instead. Exeter Chiefs then with the ball on their 10-metre line. And the rain isn't quite as heavy as it was 5 or 6 minutes ago, but it's still not the best conditions out there, and it's still going to be an incredibly difficult ball to gather and hold on to. Emily Totosi then with a really, really strong carry there from her. Good 5 or 6 metres gained there. A number of players clinging onto her for dear life. It's McKinley Hunt. And Pat Garcia then back at number 10 to Abby Fleming with another hard line, but it's just drifted forwards. And Gloucester-Hartpury very much doing what Chiefs did in these opening minutes of this second half, just keeping themselves camped in the territory and asking questions of that defence and forcing those simple mistakes.
Absolutely, it's going to be key that we try and tidy up any of those tiny little mistakes. Any chance that we're going to give Gloucester-Hartpury to have a look in, they're going to take full advantage of. They've got a team full of threats, especially a kicking threat just like that. Lovely chase back from Meryn there.
And Deutsch just watches it, and it does just go dead. And we'll come back then for a scrum is the choice that you can hear being shouted from below us. And that is what Chiefs choose for a second scrum of the evening.
It's good to see us taking full advantage anytime we get the chance to scrum.
Just have a quick pause here in play, time off with Chiefs player down. Trying to get confirmation for you of the player that is down on that far side. Looks like it was Poppy Leach, but she's back up and on her feet. She's such an important player for this Chiefs team, such an important glue player between the defence and attack, and between the backs and forwards, and she really adds that extra tenacity, doesn't she, Jess?
Absolutely. She's extremely vocal and a fantastic player. She uses a lot of her playing experience at the university as a coach. It's really fantastic to keep being able to work with Poppy, not only at the university but here on the pitch as well.
Here we go then, second scrum of the day, and a second put in for the Chiefs. It's a solid scrum from both teams, no reset this time.
Lovely scrum.
And lovely little break there from Flo Robinson, and she feeds Gabby Cantona. And back in position then to feed off to Van der Velden. And George gets her hands over the ball, but she's rucked off there. And Garcia can kick straight down the channel. And it's a brilliant take and a brilliant break, and it's Emma Singh. And she's fed Zoe Allcroft, Laura Sheehan tracking back. And the ball's been fed back to Rachel Lund. And McKinley Hunt there comes over with an important, crucial intervention for Chiefs to force the Gloucester-Hartpury player into touch. It was a fantastic read there from Emma Singh, and a fantastic little pass to Zoe Allcroft. But fantastic defence there from the Chiefs, right when they needed it most.
Absolutely, especially now that we're going to be able to put more pressure on their line out, right as the weather has just turned once again. Oh, and it was our ball anyway. And
it's a solid take, though, at the line out for Chiefs. And they look to set a position for Flo Robinson. And that's gone straight down to Ellie Underwood. She struggles, though, to hold on to the ball, and the rain again starts to lash down here.
Absolutely fantastic result there. Great exit from Flo and a great setup on the maul.
And we've seen it a couple of times in this match, and obviously we've seen it all season, whether that be Fee, Flo, Meg or Patricia that's played at scrum half. But that kicking option, that making that box kick something that can be competed, be competitive and competed for, is such an important thing as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. We've really had the privilege to have some of the coaches coming from the male side, like Ricky and Hayden, be able to really help work us with our kick chase. It's really good to have that knowledge from them to help apply to our own game.
Ellie Underwood there, she was slicing through the gap with would-be tacklers falling off of her, but she loses the ball and Patricia Garcia came away with it. Chiefs then make their way up to halfway, but it's a penalty on the floor for Gloucester-Hartpury. With that rain lashing down, to use an old cliche, that ball is really going to become like a proverbial bar of soap here.
Absolutely. I don't think you can quite see on the footage how truly it is lashing it down. It's safe to say it's typical rugby weather, but not for this time of year.
So you expect to see this maybe in January, February time, not now at the end of the season in May. It's a good kick, though, from Gloucester-Hartpury, finding touch just outside the Exeter Chiefs 22, and they'll have the throw-in to this line out.
Once again, they might be sheltered from this stadium.
There's a few conversations there initially from Pinnock and Aldcroft, and now between Powell and Hope as to what decision they're going to take. And it's a back ball, fantastic take. And Brock then feeds it off to Tatiana Hurd, and there's space as she breaks through. And it's the last player, and it's fantastic inside pass, and Gloucester-Hartpury are over. There's Zoe Aldcroft. She scored 2 tries against the Chiefs back in that opening round, and she scored again here. 7-5 the score now. And that was fantastic play in these conditions to read that and spot that gap in behind the Chiefs' defence.
Absolutely. It was good to see Gloucester trying to go for that back ball, even though the weather is absolutely lashing it down, and then for both players to have the vision to see the gap and then get that little offload away. It does need to be reiterated how good the handling is regardless of the weather today.
We'll just wait then for Gloucester-Hartpury to take conversion. It's number 15, Emma Singh, who's got the tee today. An opportunity here for her to level proceedings as the Exeter Chiefs subs below us make their way back from warming up in the in-goal area. Words of encouragement from the Chiefs behind the goal line. It's a lovely kick from Emma Singh, and it levels things up here. 7-7 here in the wind and the rain at Sandy Park. In fact, with that conversion, that takes her to the half century of points for the season. So fantastic effort by her. And a sub taking place below us as well for Gloucester-Hartpury. Number 16, that is Kelsey Jones, coming on to the pitch. And she'll look to make a big impact with fresh legs, replacing Connie Powell below us.
It's really good to see Connie Powell back on the pitch after experiencing a really big injury this season.
It's fantastic to see players get back on, and she's played really well today as well. Hit her arrows when she's had to at line-out time, and been a really good presence at the breakdown. Time back on here then, and Patricia Garcia to get us back underway. Scores level at 7 apiece, and Exeter then will look to try and really get their first opportunity with ball in hand in Gloucester-Hartpury territory this half. Kick from Garcia, and it's met by Gloucester-Hartpury, and they set off again then, looking for a gap in the contact and a spill there in midfield. So a perfect opportunity for Exeter Chiefs, playing with the advantage. See what they can do here. Kate Zachary then with the carry. Kate Zachary, Abby Fleming, I beg your pardon. I'm not used to seeing Kate in the 13 shirt. And there is Fleming on the ball, met hard by two tacklers, but she does well to get herself to ground. And Garcia tries to find a gap, but there's no way through there. And Poppy Leach steps in at scrum half, feeds McKinley Hunt off to Laura Delgado. And Chiefs then, brilliant carry from Delgado. Chiefs then with ball in hand here, just sniping, searching for an opportunity. Ball out the back to Zachary. Good tackle on her. She would have been away down the short side there otherwise. Gloucester-Hartpury have done well to slow the ball down temporarily. The Chiefs continue to press and probe and search for opportunities. Robinson then goes down the blind to Van der Velden, it looks like, from up here in my, must say, lovely sheltered position away from the rain. And it's another great carry there from the Chiefs. Jess, we're really seeing that pick and go game and that set of carries from the forwards come to the fore here now, aren't we?
Absolutely, it's really good. As always, our forwards are working extremely hard to keep getting up, re-carrying, getting back into our structure to then go again. It's really important that we keep getting this go forward ball, even if we can only make a few metres at a time. It's going to eventually get us up the pitch. We just need to make sure we're securing these breakdowns in order to let us have a good playing platform.
And Chiefs then still with the ball, still going through the phases, still asking questions. There's a kick in behind from Flo Robinson. It's taken well there. And Gloucester-Hartpury then look to run their way out of trouble. It's a fantastic break. But they now have the ball on their own 22, and they do manage to clear long. Merrin Doige sprinting back with Garnet McKinder. And Chiefs then with the ball in hand, but right back in their half now. Tired legs out there, a long old passage of play. And Doige searches for the opportunities. And she takes play up to just inside her own half. Chiefs again then look to go back to that familiar forward attacking position that we talked about a moment ago. Cantona then with the tip on to Cato, and Garcia with the ball now. And again another kick from her. There is space in behind, but Ellie Underwood looks to take it and track back well, but knocks on again with the ball. Difficult conditions.
Absolutely, it's really good to see Patricia also trying to take advantage of being out of the wind, going across and pinning them down in that corner.
And perfect opportunity there, says the referee, for a water break, the final water break of the season for both of these sides, with just over 17 minutes to go. Gloucester-Hartpury also look to be getting another sub ready below us as well. So once that sub is confirmed, we will confirm whom and what position. Jess, it's one of those, obviously Chiefs haven't used anybody on their bench yet, but they've got lots of forward muscle to come on as well and make an impact Is it something you'd like to be seeing at the moment, or do you think the girls that are on the pitch as it is are managing to keep themselves still in it?
Oh, it's that would be difficult to say that. If people do get to come on from the bench, it'll be absolutely fantastic impact. We've got some really good experience within our bench, and we've got some really good backs ready to come on as well. I think it'll be really good to see if it happens, Abby to come on. Obviously, have not made a Premiership experience yet, debut yet. It'd be good for her to gain a few minutes to help bring her on to the next season.
And confirmation then of that change for Gloucester-Hartpury, it's Shona Powell-Hughes who has made her way on to the pitch, and she has replaced number 4, Shia Pinnock. 17 minutes left then for both of these teams. 7 points all, 3 points between them in the table to decide who finishes 5th. Obviously, if you're a Gloucester-Hartpury supporter or an Exeter Chiefs supporter, you'd like it to be a bit more clear-cut, but for the neutral, this is just what you want to see. Something riding on the final game of the season right down to the very last minutes.
This is an absolute difference between our first game against Gloucester-Hartpury this season. It's really good to see such good competition between these two sides.
And as Robinson then feeds it off to Delgado, and you're right there, Jess, about that competition. Chiefs have improved so much through this first season. A great initial pass there, but the ball spilt forwards and the opportunity's gone for the Chiefs. But I think they've startled quite a few people with how they've done this season. Nobody within the camp, I think everyone in the camp has known how good they can be. And a word on Sale Sharks as well, who have done, obviously beat us last time out, and again have been a fantastic addition to the league this season.
Absolutely, it's been great to each week see improvements not only within the whole squad, but that initial starting 15 and the bench as well.
And there's a net 60-metre gain there for Gloucester-Hartpury. Ball spilt forward by Exeter Chiefs, and just like that, Chiefs had the ball on the Gloucester-Hartpury 22. 2 knock-ons later, and Gloucester-Hartpury are now just outside the Exeter Chiefs 22 with a prime attacking opportunity. It's a nice little wrap-around from Gloucester-Hartpury. They don't make many metres, but they have drawn in a fair few Exeter defenders. The defence realigns itself. And George then has looked to gather the ball, but it's gone forwards. Disappointment there. Both teams have, credit to them, looked to try and play expansively when they can. But you sense now with 15 minutes or so left and the game is finely poised as it is, it isn't one of those days anymore to try and play that exciting back style of rugby, if you like. It's a moment to try and control the ball, control the territory. Ellie Underwood there, again struggling to hold on to the ball, but she mops up well, and Emma Singh sets off, going sideways, but she's drawn lots of numbers away there, and Gloucester-Hartpury have suddenly got a 2-on-1, and the ball's made its way out there, and they're streaking clear on the wing. Fantastic tackle from Garnet McKinder, had to be made there, because Gloucester-Hartpury otherwise would have been away and streaking clear for a try. They've still got the ball, though, on the Chiefs' 10-metre line. And Chiefs have reorganised well after that initial break. And the ball again to George. And the ball out the back to Tatiana Hurd. And there's tons of space again in midfield. Emma Singh has the ball again. And she draws Merrin Doige and she feeds Ellie Underwood. Laura Sheehan tracks back. She's not going to have the legs. Gloucester-Hartpury have turned this one around. And Ellie Underwood goes over a sucker punch for the Chiefs there. 12-7 the score now to Gloucester-Hartpury. And there might have been a slight breakdown in communication in defence there, Jess, but that was a fantastic read and attack, and it was all started by Emma Singh with that lovely little darting break on the other side of the pitch.
Yes, it was. I thought our scramble defence to try and cover her getting out wide was really good, and it was also some really fantastic distribution from Gloucester-Hartpury in these, as we have constantly said, these really challenging conditions. It's really good to see expansive rugby in a set of conditions where it would be tempting to keep it very, very tight.
And it will be George then that will line up this kick for the visitors. Important kick as well to see if they can take this past 5 points and out to 7 points, meaning Chiefs would need a converted score to level proceedings.
it's good to see Linda giving us a few words of inspiration there to the whole side, ready to dig deep and go again. I think it's going to be really important that we dig deep for one another now, to hopefully get that win that we need.
So Exeter Chiefs then 15 minutes left to haul themselves back into this one as they trudge up towards halfway. Kick to compete, the call from down below us, and that's certainly what Exeter need to do now to get their hands back on the ball. Garcia then. It's another long kick straight down the throat of the Gloucester-Hartpury player. And the visitors again look menacing in attack, trying to build the phases, and now they've got a lead to hold on to as well.
Once again, lovely take from Merrin there. And again, some lovely takes from the fullbacks and the back three here in such terrible conditions.
Gloucester-Hartpury then, George back in the pocket, and it's another booming boot down towards McKinder. It goes over her head, and she has to go tracking back. Difficult ball to hold on to, but it's gone backwards, and she's now got the opportunity to try and set off, but she's got a sea of red around her, and they get her to ground. Tell you what, she's done incredibly well there to hold on to the ball, and Chiefs now will have to go through the phases and try and restructure themselves and get themselves back into a position to see if they can affect the scoreline again.
Absolutely, it's really good to see Garnet using a little bit of footwork to bide herself a little bit of time for some support in that breakdown. It's also going to be really important now we exit cleanly.
And the ball's bouncing around all over the place, but it's Gloucester-Hartpury that come away with it. And again, like I said earlier, almost a repeat of the first half with with one team dominating territory, Gloucester-Hartpury this time. There's a fantastic hit there from the Chiefs, but Gloucester-Hartpury still come away with the ball. Tatiana Hurd stepping, looking for opportunities, and there's a turnover on the floor for Exeter Chiefs. Brilliant work, much needed as well. And they now come away with the ball on the 10-metre line. Still pressing, probing, trying to find a space in that Gloucester-Hartpury defence.
And hopefully you can see from at home, the space is very on out wide, and hopefully we're now be able to get the ball there.
Penalty for Exeter Chiefs then there at the ruck. That's going to give them an opportunity to try and get into the Gloucester-Hartpury half. Just over 10 minutes by my watch left of this match.
This is going to be really important that we all execute our little roles now in order for us to get the points.
And it's a slight banana boot from Garcia, but it does its job. It finds its way into touch, and it's an Exeter line out just inside their own half. I was going to make a comment about the weather, but I'm not after my commentator's curse on it earlier.
Probably best to leave that one.
And instead, let's focus then on Emily Totosi to throw in for her side, making sure the ball is as dry as it possibly can be. And you sense this is a crucial phase of the game for both teams now.
Absolutely.
There's a front ball, and Ebony Jeffries there has to fight to get her hands on the ball, but does a fantastic job. And Van der Velden pops off to McKinley Hunt, and Hunt charges up towards halfway and just into the Gloucester-Hartpury half. Garcia again on the ball then, feeds it off, and there's a shimmy and a go from Garcia. She's got the ball back. This is brilliant from Exeter Chiefs. Laura Sheehan racing through. She's hauled down by the last tackler, but Chiefs still have the ball 5 metres out here from the Gloucester-Hartpury line.
Fantastic little work in between there with balls going left, right.
And it's all about patience now for Exeter Chiefs. They've worked themselves brilliantly into this position. A fantastic break from Garcia, an even better tracking line from Laura Sheehan, and it must be said, a superb covering tackle from Gloucester-Hartpury as well. But Chiefs are now into that familiar position, 5 metres out from the line, going through the phases, trying to build the momentum and see if they can haul themselves back level in this game.
There's some absolutely great defence on show here from Gloucester-Hartpury, trying to keep us out of that 5 metre zone.
And you can see what a good job Gloucester-Hartpury are doing. It's a very packed and congested midfield there, and commentators curse again just as we praise them for how well they've done. There's a penalty advantage, and Chiefs look to use the ball. Garcia again with the kick in behind. It's a really deep in goal area. Has McKinder grounded it? Yes, she has. Superb work from Exeter Chiefs. Fantastic kick in behind from Patricia Garcia, using that massive in goal area. And a fantastic grounding from Garnet McKinder there. 8 minutes left in this match, 12 all, kick out wide to come. Who's your money on for this, Jess?
Gabby has had an absolutely brilliant kicking game from the tee this season. She's had a 71% success rate on conversions. It's also really good to see, like we mentioned earlier, Patricia taking advantage of that massive in-goal area. It's good to also see the backs having the confidence to play out wide, even though the conditions are, as we keep mentioning, awful. Gloucester-Hartpury's defence in and around that breakdown while we were picking and going has really meant the backs have had to step up there. And it's good to see them execute on a move that we've worked on within training.
Tough kick for Cantona out wide, and number 22 for Gloucester-Hartpury, Sophie Tandy, is preparing herself to come on after this kick as well. And Fee Lewis stripping off down below us into her match jersey for Exeter Chiefs to come onto the pitch as well. And we wait for this crucial conversion. It's a good nudge from Cantona. It's on target, but it's not quite got the legs. So we're level here at 12 apiece. We'll just confirm those changes for you as well. And Tandy has replaced Tatiana Hurd for Gloucester, and for Exeter Chiefs, Joanna Kidlinski and Fee Lewis both waiting below us to come on. Jess, Fee's been out for a while. She's got herself back into the squad after that injury the last couple of weeks, and she adds such an extra zip to the game when she's on the field, doesn't she?
Absolutely. Her experience at Welsh International really does bring another dimension into our game. It's great to have more voices on the pitch where she can help lead from the front, especially being in an important position such as 9. So
Kidlinski and Lewis still waiting below us to come on. They'll come on at the next stoppage in play. That change for Gloucester-Hartpury, Sophie Tandy on for Tatiana Hurd, happened just before the restart, with 6 minutes, give or take, left here at Sandy Park. And it's finally poised, delicately poised, and it's charged down by Gloucester-Hartpury, but Chiefs recycle, regather, and there's a penalty for Gloucester-Hartpury. And you'd back them here to look for the post. Such a finely poised match, holding on the call from the referee. And they do indeed point to the post. So Chiefs got themselves level. And Gloucester-Hartpury then with an opportunity to snatch the lead back, with the game going into its dying moments. Jess, we see this quite a lot actually in the game, and we've seen it especially this season as well. Teams, it's a mixture of teams not quite getting their exits right after they score, but teams really responding as well to conceding and matching that straight away and getting themselves back into opportunities to score as well.
Yes, absolutely. It's really important that when you've just conceded points that you band together and then step up another gear. Gloucester-Hartpury are really notorious for that, taking up another gear each time. It's going to be really important now that if they do get these points now, we band together yes again and get over the whitewash.
So Gloucester-Hartpury lining this one up to retake the lead in what has been an incredibly tight match here at Sandy Park. Difficult kick considering the conditions as well.
With a lot of pressure on.
It's a brilliant nudge, and Gloucester-Hartpury then 15-12 they lead. Penalty there, and 4 minutes or so left now, and time off for those subs to be made for Exeter Chiefs.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic to see some impact off the bench.
So it's Emily Totosi and Flo Robinson, I think, making their way off. It's Abby Fleming, I beg your pardon, making her way off for the Chiefs. And let's see then what Fee Lewis and Jojo Kiklinski can do in the final 4 minutes, see if they can get Chiefs once again back into this match.
With I believe Jojo coming on at back row, it's going to be really good to see that dynamic play from her. Very much a utility forward, just like Zachary as well. She's already going to bring a lot of experience on as a USA international as well.
And the bouncing ball goes over Meryn Deutsch's head, but she regathers well and races back into contact. She's met hard there, and the ball is lost on the floor, ripped, says the referee, so no knock on. Just a fantastic bit of work at the breakdown there from Gloucester-Hartpury. And they break down the wing. It's Ellie Underwood again. She kicks in behind, and Garnet McKinder has to track back, lets it go dead, grounds it. And it'll be a 22 for Exeter Chiefs. Just under 4 minutes to go then in this game. And Exeter needing to go the best part of 80 metres if they are to snatch anything out of this game other than a losing bonus point. We won't bother about permutations as to who finishes where and points difference yet until the final result is in. Garcia with the restart straight down the throat of Ellie Underwood. She makes sure she takes that one and feeds it to Emma Singh. Sets off again. Delgado and Leach meet her hard with a tackle. And George again back in at 10, just probing, controlling play. And it's gone into the dead goal area. And Garcia, rather than grounding it, looks to play her way out of trouble. And it's a brilliant tackle there from Gloucester-Hartpury. And Chiefs have done very well in this near side corner just to actually keep hold of the ball. Kate Zachary then with the pick-up. 2 minutes left then by my watch, and a penalty for Exeter, not rolling away the call from the referee. And an opportunity then for Chiefs to at least start now edging their way up the field.
Absolutely, it's going to be really important that we keep making sure we do our little rolls right in order for us to actually keep getting up the pitch. It's going to be a bit of a nail-biter finish, I think.
And that kick hasn't found touch for Exeter Chiefs, and Gloucester-Hartpury again can come back at them. Zoe Allcroft then with the ball. She's met hard, but Gloucester-Hartpury are right where they want to be with just under 2 minutes to go, attacking in the Exeter Chiefs half. And Samula, who is also on the pitch for Gloucester, and they've got another penalty advantage here, not rolling away right in front of the sticks, and you'd expect them here take the posts. And secure themselves a win here. They have indeed pointed at the post. Take the time, the call from down below me. And they'll line this one up again from about 22 metres out, directly in front of the posts. And Emma Singh then to use the clock and try and slot this kick to secure a victory for her side.
Again, another kick that's under a lot of pressure here.
It is, and she's been fantastic off the tee today for her side. This, the most important kick though, to effectively seal the victory for Gloucester-Hartpury. Flat kick nailed by Emma Singh. Not quite used up all of the time. I make it 5 seconds left when that went over the posts. So there'll be one last chance for the Chiefs to try and regain the ball here and try and get something out of this game.
Absolutely. We are going to have to play to the whistle here and dig again really deep. It's going to be really important now that we all keep a calm head and play to the final whistle, hopefully to give us the opportunity to get over the try line.
Chiefs then taking their time. This kick-off has got to be right, it's got to be competitive, and they've got to be able to get their hands on it. It's bounced out of play. on the full, so it's an option for Gloucester-Hartpury then, and they've elected for a scrum on halfway.
Considering Chiefs have been quite dominant in the scrum this game, it's going to be quite an important one for us to gain that turnover.
I say arguably the last scrum of the season. If you ever needed a forwards drive, Exeter Chiefs, it's now.
Absolutely. I know I'd be personally quite fired up, and I know all those girls there are going to be.
So Gloucester-Hartpury put in then at the scrum Bianca Blackburn to put the ball in for her side. We make it time up by our clock. The score 18-12 Gloucester-Hartpury, having fought back from trailing 7-0 at the break. And it wouldn't be the final scrum of the final game of the regular season if there wasn't going to be one final reset.
Absolutely. It's going to be really good to see a great scrum. The front row we have here is absolutely phenomenal. With the experience for each one of the girls there, it is brilliant to see so many nations collide and bring in a good front row.
And Gloucester-Hartpury as well, they've made a couple of changes up front, but they still have a formidable forward pack of their own. So let's see how this one plays out then. Directly in the middle of the field, Gloucester-Hartpury is a huge shove from the Chiefs, and they've won a penalty at scrum time. Massive, massive moment potentially for Exeter. Van der Velden protesting, showing the ref that Gloucester have walked away with the ball. He's not interested.
Absolutely fantastic scrum.
And Chiefs then making a judgment call here on what to do. They've got to find touch if they want to win this match, and then they've got to execute well after that. But this is the first part. Now, are they going to kick? Susie Appleby below me wants them to play the line out, but they tap and go. And instead, Garcia boots it off for full time. I think the permutations, and I may well be wrong, I think the permutations on points difference mean that Exeter Chiefs losing by 6 is just enough to secure victory, but I will confirm that to you. All that we know though, and all that matters here though, is that it's finished 18-12 to Gloucester-Hartpury here at Sandy Park. It was a fantastic first half display from Exeter Chiefs in incredibly difficult conditions, but Gloucester-Hartpury rallied and were fantastic in the second half. I think special praise has to go to Ellie Underwood on the wing. A couple of fantastic breaks from her, and nerves of steel from Emma Singh at fullback to slot the points from the tee when they were needed. Jess, obviously not quite the ending we were expecting. Gloucester-Hartpury securing the victory, and a fine victory at that as well. For Exeter Chiefs then, obviously, sadly, disappointment ending with 2 defeats on the bounce, but that shouldn't take away from what's been a fantastic first season, should it?
Absolutely not. Considering we had a seven on the trot win streak, defeating each one of the top 4, I think there's lots of positives we can take away from this season, as well as throughout each game we have shown different attributes that we can really work on for the next coming season.
So I think it's been confirmed down below me, and obviously we will clarify that, and obviously it will go up on the league standings as well. Exeter Chiefs losing by 6 points, I think means they, by virtue of securing that losing bonus point, cling on to 5th place in the league by the narrowest of margins, by 1 point on the points difference, which we will confirm to you. Gloucester-Hartpury then rightly cheerful below us. Fantastic performance from them, as we said. Thank you very much for sticking with us, for joining us here at Sandy Park today. It's been a fantastic game, a game for the purists, some may say, with the conditions, but a brilliant spectacle that's shown just how competitive the Allianz Premier 15s is. And I think across the season, all of the teams have shown how brilliant they've been, how competitive they've been, and how fantastic this league is, and it's only going to get better. So thank you very much for joining myself and Jess Thomas, and fingers crossed, if restrictions allow and are eased, we'll see you all back here at Sandy Park in person in September, and we can't wait to welcome you back.